Okay, I gave you some problems. First of all, we have problems on page 44. Is that correct? This was multiplying monomial times monomial, one term times one term. Are there any there that you had trouble with on page 44? No troubles? No troubles. Okay. Page 48. I gave you some problems on page 148. Again, this dealt with multiplying. This time it was one times many and many times many. Are there any there that gave you trouble? Any there you like to see work? Yes?
43.
43. Number 43. Problem 43. Now, as you can see, what we have here again is parentheses within parentheses within parentheses. Now, we had this type before, but it wasn't as complicated as this one we have now, because now we know multiplication. But the game is still the same. You attack the innermost parenthesis, one step at a time. So we're going to copy the problem down exactly the way it was until we get to the innermost parenthesis. Now it says to multiply everything in this parenthesis by what? By what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. That means we get negative 2a, negative 2. We don't multiply this 1 by the negative 2 because it's not in the parenthesis. We just bring it down. And there the parentheses are removed. What we're going to do now is go after the brackets. So again, we copy down everything the way it is till we get to the brackets. Now it says to multiply everything in the bracket by negative 1. And we know that when you multiply something by negative 1, all it does is changes the sign. And there, we have multiplied everything by negative 1. The brackets are gone. All that leaves us now are the parentheses. Well, it says to multiply everything in there by 2. So if I do that, I have 2a minus 2a plus 4a plus 4 minus 2 plus 2. Combining like terms. You see 2a minus 2a, they're gone. We end up with 4a. We have a negative 2 and a positive 2, they're gone. So we have, our answer is 4a plus 4. Okay? Makes sense. Any other ones there that gave you trouble you'd like to see worked? No? No. Okay. Now, what we did the other day is we multiplied many by many. The way we did it, we used the double distributive method. Today we're going to go into a special type of many times many. Example. The quantity x plus 3 times the quantity x plus 2. What we have here is many times many. A two-termer times a two-termer. A binomial times, anytime you have a binomial times a binomial, you could go through the double distributive method. But we have another method which is much faster. You recall what this method's called?
FOIL.
FOIL. That's the magic word, FOIL. So let's take a look at the FOIL method. The FOIL method is an inspection method. You look at it, you write the answer. And with some experience, you should be able to get the answer as fast as you can write. FOIL method. First times the first. Well, if we multiply x times x, we come out with x squared. The first term times the first term in each of the binomials. And that becomes the first term of our product, our answer, x squared. We then multiply the outers. The outers. If we multiply the outers, we come out with 2x. We multiply the inners. If we multiply the inners, we come out with 3x. We add those. 2x plus 3x is a positive 5x. And this becomes the second term in our product. All that leaves us now are the last times the last. Well, positive 2 times a positive 3 is a positive 6. And there's our answer. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Notice FOIL. F-O-I-L. The first times the first. Multiply the outers, the inners, add them. Last times the last. Okay? Nice, simple. As I said, with some experience, you should be able to get these as fast as you can write. Let's take a look. Let's suppose we have the quantity x plus 7 times the quantity x plus 4. Okay, what do we get for an answer there? B?
X squared plus 11x plus 28.
Very good. Very fast. Very good. First times the first. X times x is x squared. We multiply the outers, we have 4x. The inners, we have 7x. We add those. We come out with positive 11x. Last times the last, 4 times 7 is positive 28. That's the answer. X squared plus 11x plus 28. Let's suppose we have the quantity x minus 3 times the quantity x minus 5. What would we get for a product here? Tim?
X squared
X squared.
minus 8 minus 8x
Minus 8x
plus 15.
plus 15. Very good, Tim. First times the first. X times x is x squared. Multiply the outers, you get a negative 5x. The inners, you get a negative 3x. If you add those, you get negative 8x. The last times the last, a negative times a negative is positive. 3 times 5 is 15. Suppose we have the quantity x plus 6 times the quantity x minus 4. Mike?
X squared plus 4x minus 24.
Almost. Check that middle term. He said x squared plus 4x minus 24. I didn't get that.
I mean 2.
Right, plus 2x. Again, first times the first. X times x is x squared. We have a negative 4x. Multiply the inners, we have a positive 6x. If we add those together, we come out with positive 2x. Multiply the last times the last. A positive times a negative is negative. 6 times 4 is 24. Very good though, Mike. Very good. Let's make them just a little bit harder. Let's suppose we have the quantity 3x plus 2 times the quantity 4x plus 5. The quantity 3x plus 2 times the quantity 4x plus 5. Kathleen. Where's Kathleen? Okay, Kathy, what you get?
12x plus 23x plus 10.
She says 20.
She missed the X.
Yeah, little mistake, Kath.
Okay.
You said 12x.
Right.
It should be 12 x
Oh,
squared.
x squared.
Sure, sure. First times the first. You missed the easy part. Got the hard
Yeah.
part right. 3 times 4 is 12. We have x squared. If we multiply the others, we have a positive 15x. The inners, we have a negative 8, a positive 8x. Add those, you get positive 23x. Last times the last, 2 times 5 is positive 10. Very good, Kathy. Okay. Let's suppose we have the quantity 3x minus 7 times the quantity 4x minus 3. That's 3x, quantity 3x minus 7 times the quantity 4x minus 3. Anthony.
12x squared minus 37x plus 21.
Very good. Very fast. Very good. First times first. 3 times 4 is 12. X times x is x squared. If we multiply the others, we have negative 9x. The inners, we have negative 28x. If we add those, we get negative 37x. Last times last, negative times a negative is positive. 7 times 3 is 21. Okay? Suppose we have the quantity 7x minus 5 times the quantity 3x plus 4. Quantity 7x minus 5 times the quantity 3x plus 4. Jan?
21x squared.
21x squared. I have great confidence.
Minus negative 36x.
Ah, she says negative 36x. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Okay, Jan, look up at the board. 1 second. Multiply the odd sides. What do you get there, Jan?
28x.
28x. Positive 28x. Multiply the insides. What do you get?
Negative 15.
Negative 15x. Add those, Jan. What do you get?
13.
Sure, positive 13x. All that leaves us now, Jan, is the last times the last, which gives us
Negative 20.
negative 20. Okay? Let's suppose we have the quantity 5x minus 1 times the quantity 7x plus 1. Roy, what do you get for the answer?
35x squared minus 2x minus 1.
Very good. He said 35x squared. First times the first. 35x squared. Multiply the others, you have a positive 5x. The inners, you have negative 7x. Add those up, you get negative 2x. Last times the last, that's a negative 1. Very good. One more. One more. 3a, quantity 3a, plus 4b times the quantity 3a minus 4b. Quantity 3a plus 4b, quantity 3a minus 4b. What, Madupi, what do you get for that?
9a squared
9a squared
minus 16b squared.
minus,
16b squared.
very good, 16b squared. What happens in the middle term?
Cancel.
Cancel out. Now the middle term will always cancel out. Anytime you have the same two terms in each parentheses with the opposite sign separating them. This is called the sum and difference of two terms. The middle term will always cancel it out. That's the only time it will cancel out the middle term, doing the FOIL method. When you have the same two terms in each parenthesis separated by opposite signs. You know you're not going to have a middle term. You don't even have to try for it after a while. Okay? Let's see if we can make the problems just a little bit different. Let's make that the quantity x plus 3 squared. The quantity x plus 3 raised to the second power. Okay. Kathleen, what do you get for that?
X squared plus 6x plus 9.
Very good. She says x squared plus 6x plus 9. How'd you get it, Kathy?
Just for the x plus 3 times x plus
Sure, what she says, this is nothing but the quantity x plus 3 times x plus 3. And once she wrote it in this manner, it became a FOIL multiplication. And she came out with the answer of x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now you see what we're doing? We're taking a binomial and we're squaring it. We're taking a two-termer and squaring it. All through this course we're going to be squaring binomials, all through it. We have to find a better way. This takes a little bit too much time. So we're going to find a much better way. We're just going to look at this and write the answer. We're not going to write it twice and then go through FOIL. We're just going to look at this and write the answer. The way we do it, we square the first term. You know what we mean by squaring it? Multiply it by itself. X times x is x squared. First step, square the first term in the binomial. Second step, multiply the two terms together, and whatever you get, double it. If I multiply these two terms together, what do we get? 3x. Double it, you get 6x. Then we square the second term. We square the second term. And that comes out to be positive 9. Notice the answers are the same. This will be much faster. By the time you copy this one down twice, you'll be done with this problem.
I'm sorry, would you say that middle term again?
Yeah, I'm going to do the whole thing. And we're all going to take a shot at this. We square the first term. That means multiply it by itself. X times x is x squared. We then multiply the two terms together and double the product. Double the product of the two terms. If we multiply these two terms together, I get 3x. Double it, I get 6x. Then we square the second. A positive 3 times a positive 3 is a positive 9. Okay? Got that, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Show me. I have the quantity x plus 7 squared. What do you get?
X squared
X squared
plus 14x
plus 14x
plus 49.
plus 49. You sure do have that, Mike. X squared plus 14x plus 49. You square the first. X times x is x squared. Product of the two terms, Kathy, is 7x. Double, you get 14x. Square the second. 7 times 7 is positive 49. Oh, let's try this one. Quantity x minus 5 squared. The quantity x minus 5 squared. Tim?
Okay, x squared
X squared
minus 10x
minus 10x.
plus 25.
Plus 25. You see, this first term and last term, they have to come out to be positive because you're squaring to get it. If you square a positive times a positive is positive. If you square a negative, negative times a negative is a positive. So the first and last term are always positive. the middle sign is always the same as the sign in a problem. That's simple. Let's suppose we have the quantity a plus b squared. Roy?
Be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared.
Very good. Very fast. The faster we're getting at these, you square the first. A times a is a squared. You multiply the two terms together, that's ab, double it, you get 2ab. Square the last, b squared. Okay. Let's see. Let's suppose we have 2x, quantity 2x plus 5 squared. Tony?
4x squared plus 20x plus 25.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You square the first term. That means you multiply it by itself. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. You then multiply the two terms together, and whatever you get, you double it. Well, you see, if we multiply these two terms together, we come out with 10x. Double it, we get 20x. We square the second. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. Let's suppose we have the quantity 4x minus 3 squared. 4x minus 3 quantity squared. Jen?
16x squared minus 24x plus 9.
Okay. How we get it? Square the first. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. We multiply these two terms together, we get negative 12x, double, we get negative 24x. We square the second, and negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9. Quantity 7a minus 1 squared. 7a minus 1 squared. Kathleen?
14a squared minus 14a plus 1.
One mistake. Your first term. What did you say it was again, Kathleen?
14a squared.
That's what you said the first time. That's not right. You square the first term. What's 7a times 7a, Kathy?
49.
Right, the arithmetic. Both times I called. It was not the algebra, it was the arithmetic. 49a squared. 7a times 7a is 49a squared. You multiply the two terms together, you get negative 7a, double it, you get negative 14a. You square the last, you get positive 1. Quantity 3x plus 2y squared. BB.
9x squared plus 12xy plus 4y squared.
Very good. Everybody agree with that? Should. It's the correct answer. You square the first. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. You then multiply the two terms together. If you do, you get 6xy. Double it, you come out with 12xy. You now square the second, we come out with positive 4y squared. One more. 5a minus 4b quantity square. Madupi, that's yours.
25a squared
25a squared.
minus 40ab
minus 40ab
plus 16b squared.
plus
16.
16b squared. Lovely. Okay? Any questions on this? Squaring a binomial. As I say, it's very important. Throughout this course, you'll be continually squaring binomials. If you're going to have to write it out twice, you're going to have lots of trouble a little later on. Okay. So we covered all phases of multiplication. Multiplying one term, one time times many, many times many. We covered FOIL multiplication, and we covered squaring a binomial. So now we're ready to go into division of algebraic expressions. Division of algebraic expressions. Now, before we start this, you have to know that anything, with the exception of 0, anything divided by itself is 1. Sure. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 2 million divided by 2 million is 1. A divided by A is 1. Okay, so now we're ready for division. Let's suppose I have x to the 5th divided by x to the 2nd. X to the 5th divided by x to the 2nd. Help. Roy?
X to the 3rd.
X to the 3rd. I don't believe you. How'd you get it, Roy?
Well, when you multiply them, you add the sign, so when you divide, you subtract the exponents.
You believe him, Jan? I don't believe him. Convince us. Convince us you're right.
Well, when
Do you recall how you did for multiplication? Okay.
well, if you multiply, or x to the 5th is x times itself 5 times, and x to the 2nd is x times itself, so they cancel themselves out.
Yeah, we said that anything divided by itself is 1, so this is a 1, this is a 1, so what we have is 1 times x times x times x, which is, as Roy said, 1x cubed, or plain x to the 3rd. Okay? Roy, I'm still asking. Suppose I have x to the 20th divided by x to the 4th. What would that give us?
X to the 16th.
Very good. So, let's go with our property 3, dealing with exponents. Roy says if we have x to the a divided by x to the b, this is equal to x to the a minus b power. In other words, keep the base, subtract the exponent. Okay? Very good. Suppose I have this. A to the 10th, b to the 4th over a to the 3rd, b. That's a to the 10th, b to the 4th over a to the 3rd, b. Using Roy's property, Jan, what'd you give for an answer?
A to the 7th, B to the 3rd.
A to the 7th, B to the 3rd. Does everybody agree with that? That's right. We have an A on top, an A in the denominator, different exponents, so we end up with an A. We subtract 10 minus 3 is 7. B to the 4th over B is B to the 3rd. Nice and easy. Let's try another one. Let's suppose we have this. We have x to the 4th, y to the 6th, w to the 8th, over x squared, y to the 6th, w to the 5th. Eight and 5, yes. I'm sorry. Okay, help. Who has an answer? Good, Kathy.
X to the second, W to the third.
She says x to the second, w to the third. She doesn't have a y in her answer. Why not?
Oh, because it cancels 6.
Yeah, y to the sixth over y to the sixth. We said that anything divided